Several students who sat for first-term examinations in the North Central Province yesterday, speaking to Action TV, revealed that they had discussed the answers among themselves and had even consulted their textbooks within the examination hall. The students were given such a rare opportunity because a majority of the teachers who were appointed to supervise the examinations in the North Central Province did not report for duty. The teachers did not report for duty, saying that they could not work on public holidays. If the teachers stand by this stance, then the students will be given another rare opportunity as they were yesterday. This is because the students are due to sit for several examinations next Saturday as well. According to the timetable for the term examinations, which has been prepared in violation of a circular issued by the Secretary to the Ministry of Education and in violation of a North Central Province education calendar, teachers will have to report for duty on Saturday the 6th of April too. The students too are required to come to school and obtain their progress reports in spite of the fact that the New Year holiday commences on the previous day. In addition to such travesties, the drama that was acted out yesterday during the term examinations by provincial education authorities could also serve to give a negative impression to students and parents. Although a sum of 1.5 million rupees had been spent to frame and distribute this photograph by the Provincial Minister of Education to all 772 schools in the province and all zonal and divisional offices, the quality of the paper that was used to print yesterday's question papers was so poor that the papers were almost transparent. Since certain schools did not even receive sufficient amounts of these substandard question papers, photocopies had to be made. Since the timetable had been prepared in a manner where some advanced level students received question papers for 2 subjects at the same time, a decision was made to leave out one of the subjects on a request made by the students. Since the leaving out of subjects was different from school to school, in the event that the examinations for these subjects are to be held later on, then the question papers will have to be compiled afresh. It is also notable that the first part of the Buddhist civilization question paper for grade 12 students contained not 50 questions but 33, and except for a change in the number on the papers, the same part 2 paper was distributed among students from grade 12 and 13. Incidentally, it was the North Central Province Department of Education that laid the foundation for such special consideration to be given to the first-term examinations in the province. The Minister of Education in 2008 also informed Parliament that steps would be taken against the relevant officials. As a result of this being an empty statement, the first-term examinations this time around were organized under one of these officials who has since been promoted. An investigation has also revealed that there had been irregularities on the part of this official, even in the purchase of rubber balls for primary schools. This official, who was integrated into the Education Administration Service on the basis that she could not hold positions, has been promoted to the position of Additional Director of Education for the province under its vision statement Priority to Education, in violation of orders issued by the Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission and the Supreme Court. Will priority be given to education, or will education be taken to its grave in a place where recommendations and orders in view of good governance are not implemented? Governor of the North Central Province, this one is over to you.
News First correspondent Chathri Udeshika visited a rural village in the Balangoda area recently. After the report compiled by Chathri was aired on News First, the relevant officials have addressed the hardships of the people.
The story on the Nagrak village was aired on the 3rd of this month.
Following News First report on the Nagrak village, officials of the Sabaragama Provincial Council visited this village to look into the hardships of the people. The group that joined News First journey said that the village has its beauty and also various hardships. News First reporter from Ratnapura, Samantha Surya Arachi, also joined the group. A special news segment on this village was aired at 7 p.m. on Sirasa TV on the 3rd of this month. Thereafter, the Chief Minister of the Sabaragama Province, Mahipala Herath, who saw this, immediately instructed the Provincial Media Unit and Health Department to look into this matter. So we were the first unit to arrive at the location. Authorities have focused their attention on resolving the problems of this village located 6,000 feet above sea level. The Chief Minister gave us specific instructions. He instructed us to look into the basic needs of this area and submit a report to him. Thereafter, a program is to be initiated under the guidance of the Chief Minister himself. We requested for the necessary medical supplies from the Ratnapura Medical Storage for the clinics.
The people of the Nagrak village thanked News First for their efforts.
We are thankful to Sirasa TV. These people visited this area because of them. The officials and ministers have seen and now have come here to provide us relief.
Development projects implemented for the benefit of the public island-wide. News First reveals that the drainage system in the Dambagala village in Monragala is in a dilapidated state. Attention has not been focused on the development of the relevant infrastructure facilities. Will the Mahabad village in Dambagala be denied the benefit of the government's infrastructure development programs?
Let's now take a look at Crime Watch investigation.
A youth was murdered in the Meegahajandura area in Suryava at around 11:30 last night. The victim was identified as 25-year-old E.K. Danushka Ruwan Kumara, who is the second in a family of 4. He said that he was going to watch a match. Later we got to know that he has fallen off the bike and he is to be transferred to the Mathura hospital. When we came to the hospital, we got to know that he has been stabbed. The Suryavava police said that 2 suspects in connection to the incident have been arrested. The police added that the main suspect has fled the area. Meanwhile, an 80-year-old woman was murdered in the Gambirigaswava Kudakumbugollava area in Anuradhapura. The victim, who is a mother of 14, was living with her 9th son, who is a suspect in connection to the murder. Area residents claim that the 43-year-old son was mentally ill. My mother was on the floor when we came. My brother assaults her every time. The body of the deceased has been placed at the morgue of the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital following the magisterial inquiry. According to the police, an individual who was identified as a son of the victim has been arrested in connection with the murder.
The regulation which is imposed on fishermen to obtain a permit from the Navy in order to go out to sea has been made redundant. Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Development Dr. Rajitha Sinaratne said that the decision was made after carrying out discussions with the Commander of Navy and relevant officials. Subject Minister Rajitha Sinaratne said that with effect from next week, fishermen will only have to produce their national identity card in order to go out to sea. He added that this would enable fishermen to get a good catch, as around 2 hours of time is consumed in order to obtain the permit to set out to sea. Minister Sinaratne went on to say that following a discussion that was held last Tuesday with the Navy Commander and other officials, the regulation to obtain a permit was made redundant. Therefore, he said that the fishermen could carry out their duties after they produce their identification and their vessels are inspected. Today is the day 2 of the Director Kirula National Development Exhibition, which is being held in Ampara.
Numerous public and private sector stalls can be witnessed at the Director Kirula exhibition, which is being held at the premises of the Hardy Technical Institute in Ampara. The exhibition was made colourful this morning by displays of the army. First Lady Shirantha Rajapaksa visited the Director Kirula exhibition today. Visitors to the exhibition have the opportunity to gain a novel experience at the News First stall. Screen tests are being held at the stall to promote the talents of amateurs.
News First U reporter Puminda Subhashana from Mathura filed this report.
This is the Mathura coast. A stage and public toilets have been constructed here. Even though work has been completed, these toilets have not been open to the public. The public questions the reason for this.
News First U report Puminda Subhashana, Mathura City.
On to sports news now. Sri Lankan skipper Angelo Matthews says that he is not happy with the team's fielding and bowling performance in the first ODI against Bangladesh yesterday. Sri Lanka won the match by 8 wickets.
Losing the toss and being put to bat first, Bangladesh posted 259 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in their allotted 50 overs. Tamim Iqbal scored 112 runs off 194 deliveries, inclusive of 10 boundaries and 1 6, which was incidentally the first century by a Bangladeshi cricketer in Sri Lanka. Nasir Hussain scored an unbeaten 73 runs.
In good control, just what Bangladesh needed. They needed one of their top order players to go on.
In getting Bangladesh went a fair distance.
Lasith Malik and Angela Matthews bagged 2 wickets apiece. However, the day-night match was halted for a period of 2 hours due to a power failure, which reduced the number of overs to 41 when play resumed, giving the Sri Lankans a target of 238 runs for victory. Lankan openers T.M. Dilshan and Kusal Perera put up an opening stand of 106 runs. Kusal Perera scored 42. T.M. Dilshan went on to score his 15th ODI century, inclusive of 11 boundaries.
Through the covers. 4 more runs. What he does. Which is his 15th ODI 100 and his second against Bangladesh. Well played, Tilakaratne Dilshan.
Kumar Sangakkara scored 63 for his 74th ODI half century.
Looking shot from Sangakkara, and that's running down to the boundary of 4 and showing the exquisite timing that both these players have come up with.
T.M. Dilshan remained unbeaten on 113. Sri Lanka reached a target in 35.4 overs, losing 2 wickets with 32 balls to spare. T.M. Dilshan was awarded the man of the match.
Game by 8 wickets. And this is the highest successful chase at Hambantota. Australia made 211 for 2. That was against Sri Lanka in 2011.
Well, up next is the bitter truth.
On the 15th of January, new regulations were introduced for sports associations. The Minister of Sports himself said that the intention of these regulations were to strengthen the administration of sports associations and prevent persons unsuitable to hold positions from entering sports associations. I have clearly told you that I will not allow unqualified persons to come in during my tenure. However, one of the factions contesting elections for the Sri Lanka Badminton Association charged that the Minister's assurance has been limited to words only. L.R. Aryananda, who is standing for election for the position of Secretary of the Badminton Association, points out that the Minister of Sports has given special permission for Suraj Dandenia, who has not represented the country at any instance at the national level, to stand for election as President. Nevertheless, Aryananda, who has won the national championship on several occasions, pointed out that his nomination and the nomination of Professor Ranjit de Zoysa, who is a representative of the World Badminton Association in Sri Lanka, have been rejected. Sports regulations were brought in with a drum roll. But it is the sports director herself who has violated these regulations. When the sports director violates regulations, those in the Badminton Association violate regulations tenfold. Through this, we are made to think that this is a scheme by the Ministry of Sports and the Badminton Association to appoint officials they want. It is clear that they are all rogues. Meanwhile, the Secretary of the Kurunegala District Judo Association, Dulaj Priyanath, says that he is dissatisfied with the National Judo Association elections, which are to be held on the 28th of this month. He points out that the list of nominees for the election is yet to be submitted to voting clubs. He also charges that a person who has been found guilty by court is contesting the election in violation of the sports regulations. The Vice President of the Table Tennis Association, W.A. Buddha City, says that his faction will not be contesting elections as they too are dissatisfied. He charged that an individual who holds positions at several voting clubs is interfering in the election with political blessings. He said that since a minister is contesting for the position of President of the Table Tennis Association, sports authorities are reluctant to act justly. Trixie Nanekara, who contested for the position of President of the Netball Association at elections held on the 27th of January, charges that the vote was rigged.
The election was operated by the Director General of Sports. We had informed her prior to the election that non-voting clubs were also present here and asked her to take appropriate action, but she did not make any statement to us.
Is there no fairness or justice in sports association elections because of a scheme that has been initiated to bring certain favourable individuals into power? When will sports authorities take steps to enforce sports regulations equally for all? Sports First will keep a close watch.
Well, that's all we have from this edition of Weekend Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Good night.